Hey guys, what's up? Today's video we have another hair transformation on my client Courtney. This is actually her first time in with me, so I'm super excited to be doing her hair. She has quite a few things going on, so she has her natural roots up at the top. Looks like she gets a partial foil. She has a little bit more of a warmer blonde, and then her natural virgin hair underneath. So her goal has always been to have a nice, bright, icy platinum blonde, and obviously no one has been able to achieve that for her, so I am up for the challenge today. I am super excited. If you guys are interested on seeing this transformation, let's just go ahead and get started in today's video. Alright, so for my first bowl of lightener, I'm going to use the Schwarzkopf Igora Vario Blonde Plus. You guys already know that's my favorite lightener. I use it on every single client. Of course, I'm going to add in some Olaplex #1, and then you guys will see I'm putting in 10 volume. Now that cuts it down to 5 volume. You guys are probably like, whoa, Frida, that's a really low volume, but because I'm stacking in her foils so heavy, they're going to be in there for quite a bit while I'm foiling the rest of her head. So I don't want to do a high developer on the bottom. There's no need for that. It will process all the same. So I'm just going to do 5 volume for now. So I'm going to do a headband section and clip those 2 front sections out of my way. So I'm going to start on the back of her head. Now the reason I'm going to start on the back and not the front is because I know this will take me a while, and I want to make sure that if it does take a long time and the back ones are ready, I have access to them if I need to rinse them out, which is actually what I did end up doing. So, and you guys will see right here, I'm starting on her hairline, so I'm going to work my way around the left side of the hairline, the bottom, and then the right side as well. The reason I like to go vertical around her hairline is because this is one of the most important parts of the head. You want to make sure that when she puts her hair up, it's nice and bright and blonde. So that's why I like to go down horizontally, kind of at the shape of the head, and I like to do 2 foils back to back right here just to get the most amount of brightness. So I'm going to kind of weave through, do a heavy weave right there on the hairline because I do still like it to look natural and not chunky.
Go back home, go back home, go. Spin there all alone. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. That's where you belong.
Now, as you guys can see here, going along her hairline, I'm taking that horizontal section. Now, this does kind of determine on who the client is and what their hairline looks like. Some people's hairlines, as you guys know, go into like a V shape. Some of them go into a W shape. They all have different types of shapes. So for this client specifically, I did do a horizontal section and 2 vertical sections. I'm adding another foil right on top of that one, pretty close together, just a very, very small amount of hair. As you guys can see, I am weaving that, and the hair that's left behind is a very minimal amount of it. It's very see-through. It's not a ton, so I want to make sure that I'm leaving just a tad bit of hair to kind of separate the 2 foils to where it doesn't look like just a platinum streak around her hairline. It still looks natural, but it gives that bright effect at the same time. I've seen where people layer their foils right on top of each other with not even like any hair in between it, and it just looks super just chunky and blonde, and the root doesn't get very saturated, and it's just not a good look for the hairline. So I like to make it look natural but bright at the same time. I hope that makes sense. As I'm working my way up the head, I am continuing this pattern of bouncing back from the left side, the right side, and the middle. Now, the reason I'm having to bounce back and forth and not just continue going up horizontally is just because of the width of the head. Sometimes clients' heads are a little bit wider, and you have to kind of build up the left side and the right side to where you have a small enough section in the middle to where you can work your way up horizontally. You don't want to miss any sections, so if I were to just avoid the left and the right side and just go up horizontally, I wouldn't have enough coverage with my foil to go up horizontally. So it's a little bit bigger than what the foil is, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of having to block it in with the left side and the right side and create a section small enough. I hope that makes sense. That's super confusing, but you guys will see them just kind of ping-ponging back and forth and building myself a little block as I go up the whole head.
You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. That's where you belong. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go.
I just wanted to mention, if you guys don't already follow me on Instagram, I do post a ton of hair pictures on my hair account, and then I also post some transformations back and forth between my main account and my hair account. So I will link them down below if you guys are interested. My main account is just Frida Maczka, and then the other one is Hair by Frida Maczka. So feel free to follow those and kind of connect with me on there.
Spin there all along. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. That's where you belong. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. Spin there all along.
You guys can see at this point that I've reached the top of her head, which means that I've gotten to where the partial foil kind of begins, and it's just really her roots that I need to focus on. So inside the foil, I'm just going to place the lightener on the dark roots. I'm not going to sit there and put the whole entire strand of hair inside of the foil, because her ends are realistically at like a level 9, 10 right now. They're just golden and need to be toned out or touched with a little bit of lightener at the shampoo bowl, but nothing makes me cringe more when I see hairstylists doing like a full foil and putting bright blonde ends inside of a foil with like 20 or 30 volume. That is just unnecessary. I mean, even at 10 volume with the ends sitting in a foil, that is literally just going to break it off, and nothing makes me cringe more. So you guys can see right here, I'm leaving out the pieces that are like at level 7 or a 6, and then leaving the leftover blonde pieces outside of the foil, and I will tone those out once I get to the shampoo bowl.
Go back home, go. Spin there all along. You should go back.
Now that we're on the front half of her head, you guys will see I'm taking about an inch down from her part, sectioning that out, and I'm going to start on her hairline right here on the left side. So you guys will see I'm just taking a little baby slice on the front of her hairline. I don't want to weave it because I want to make sure that she has a maximum amount of brightness, but I definitely don't want a big chunk, so that's why I said a fine slice. You guys, I'm sorry, my arm's like so in the way here, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys this little part because you can see little bits and pieces from it, but you guys will see that I'm not touching the ends of her hair once again because they do not need to go in the foil and they don't need to be touched by lightener. So I'm just going to keep following this vertical pattern up the sides of her head until I reach the back.
Go. That's where you belong. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. Spin there all along. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. That's where you belong.
Honestly say the biggest tip I have for you guys when making people really, really blonde is just taking your time and putting in as many foils as possible. I know so many stylists who don't have the patience to put in the foils, and I see them rushing through and you end up with a bunch of stripes or just not blonde enough, and you guys can see exactly how many foils I put in here. There are a ton, and I think I took like 2 hours and 15 minutes to put them in. So seriously, you guys, take your time. I'm so sorry, but I actually didn't realize that the camera died when I was doing the top section of her head. So I just have one section on each side, and then I've slowed this clip down so you guys can see the 2 front sections that I have on the top. So I just have those 2, and then foiling from the hairline all the way to the back of her head. And I actually had to rinse out the back of her head while those were processing. Alright, so you guys know that Redken Shades EQ are my favorite toners ever, especially to use on my blondes, but I use them almost on every client. So I'm going to use their new 10VV shade and then also 10N. So I'm mixing about 30 grams of the 10VV and 20 grams of 10N, and then I'm going to put the processing solution inside of it.
I felt that I was further from the truth. In one dark and stormy night, rolling thunder, flashing light, heard a whisper.
Now that the hair is shampooed, I'm splitting the hair in half and putting the top half up in a clip and then toning the bottom and then moving up to the top. So the reason I like to do that is, for one, just to make sure that if it does catch on too quickly, I can rinse it out on the bottom half. And then number two is also just to make sure that it's evenly saturated and the toner does get on the bottom half as well. I feel like when you don't section it, you're not really sure if the bottom got any toner at all. So it just kind of makes it all even and blend in well.
Dark and stormy night, rolling thunder, flashing light, heard a whisper in the night.
So now that the toner is rinsed out, it is of course time for Olaplex number 2. It is my favorite, so I'm just going to put that all over her hair. And then once I've rinsed that out, it is now time to blow dry.
Had to find the person I'd become. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. Just been there all along. You should go back home, go back home, go back home, go. That's where you belong.
So this is the finished look, you guys. I am so proud of how this turned out. Look how bright and blonde and icy we got her. I am absolutely in love with the way that she looks with this bright blonde. It was just made for her. This was our first session going platinum, and I just can't wait to see where it goes from here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. I hope that you guys learned a little something, and I hope that this was super helpful. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!
That's where